reject me 99 times. The arrogant school heartthrob accidentally took the one heart, one mind pill my great-grandmother passed down to me. I tilted my head back to test the pill's effect. Kiss me. For 3 minutes. 3 minutes later, my lips were swollen, and the school heartthrob was having an allergic reaction. From then on, despite his inner resistance, his actions obeyed my every word. If I told him to hold me, he held me. If I told him to kiss me, he didn't hesitate. Unfortunately, the pill's effect only lasted 100 days. The night before the magic faded, I found him, soaking wet. Come to an hourly hotel with me. That's an order ... In the past, you couldn't have paid me enough to dare ask the school heartthrob to kiss me. But it was during a club activity, and we'd all been drinking. During a game, Fu Zinian and I lost, and the forfeit was that he had to give me a kiss. As the school bully, he was handsome, with sharp, defined features, but his temper was famously bad. I used to barely dare to speak loudly in front of him. But that time, alcohol probably gave this coward some courage. I lifted my head to meet his teasing, lazy gaze. A bet's a bet. I'll let you kiss me. For 3 minutes. The private room instantly erupted with Fu Zinian curved his lips slightly, looking at me with interest. Right then, Lin Jingjing said softly, "That's not really appropriate. Maybe we should do something else." ... double quotes, my heart sank. Everyone knew Lin Jingjing was special to Fu Zinian. If she'd spoken, that meant there was no chance for me. I slumped my shoulders in defeat, ready to head back to my seat. But Fu Zinian reached out, cut the back of my head, and pressed his lips to mine. My mind went completely blank. My eyes flew wide open, staring at him. His dark brown eyes stared right back at me. He looked so fierce. My courage failed me. I tried to pull back, but he reached his other hand around to hold my waist, then slowly closed his eyes. Who could resist this? Forget it. Kiss first, ask questions later. After a long moment, I felt him release my waist, and his lips left mine. Opening my eyes, Fu Zinian's face was still inches away. He leaned close to my ear. "Pretty bold, huh?" I shivered. "No, not bold. My legs are jelly right now." "Then you need more practice," Fu Zinian said with a light laugh, wiping the corner of his mouth with his hand. "Did you just eat a mint?" I nodded. I mean, seeing him, I chewed 5 pieces of gum to keep my breath fresh. It wasn't for nothing. Fu Zinian let out a low curse, grabbed his jacket from the back of his chair and said, "I'll deal with you later." My best friend Sissy nudged me. "What are you standing there for? Go after him and demand an explanation." It hit me. I sprinted like crazy for what felt like miles and finally caught up. Panting, I blocked Fu Zinian's path. I need to say something ... looked up. Whoa. I stumbled back 50 steps in fright. Fu Zinian's smooth, tan skin was covered in a massive rash of red bumps, and even the whites of his eyes were bloodshot. I was shocked. "You're disfigured?" Fu Zinian turned his head away so I couldn't see, his tone impatient. "It's your fault. Move." "My fault?" I thought for a few seconds. "You're allergic to kissing." Fu Zinian frowned, looking disgusted. "You're pretty slow, huh?" Was he annoyed it took me so long to figure it out? But who would ever think of a kissing allergy? I thought I'd been pretty quick. Fu Zinian started striding forward again. "Where are you going?" He didn't stop. Back to the dorm. "What? Go around scaring people with this face?" I couldn't catch up. So I just yelled, "Stop." Fu Zinian halted. "Come here." Fu Zinian turned, glaring at me fiercely, but his feet seemed to move uncontrollably towards me. Had that one heart, one mind pill my great-grandmother left me actually worked? I cautiously tested it. "Say you like me." Fu Zinian's glare could have killed, but in less than 2 seconds he opened his mouth. "Zhou Ruaru, I like you." I pressed on. "Okay, now come give me a hug." "Zhou Ruaru, don't you dare." Before he could finish, he walked over, opened his arms and hugged me. His embrace was really warm, and he smelled pleasantly of grass, just like that hug years ago. I reached up and gently circled his waist. After a long moment, I let him go. Fu Zinian clenched his fists. "Zhou Ruaru, what the hell did you do to me?" I shrank my neck, my cowardice returning. You accidentally took my pill. From now on, you'll be devoted to me. I really didn't mean for it to happen. The pill was in my bag. I forgot to close it properly. It rolled out, and he thought it was a candy and ate it. If I'd known this pill was so potent, I would've fed it to him ages ago. Fu Zinian scoffed lightly. You're joking. What is this? Some web novel plot? I'm not someone who can be easily manipulated. Zhou Ruoru, you're not my type. He stepped forward. Don't follow me. I'm pissed. Rejected again. I thought with this pill, I could finally have him. Feeling down, I saw Fu Zinian turn around, march straight back to me, stand stiffly in front, raise his hand, and slap himself hard across the face. Great! His face was already covered in red bumps. Now half of it was swollen and red, looking even worse. I was shocked. He was even more shocked. He stared at his own hand, his expression crumbling. Zhou Ruoru, were you controlling my body just now? I shook my head frantically. How could I do that? Besides, IWODN single quotes T.C. OULDN single quotes T. There to slap you. Fu Zinian was furious. He kicked the camphor tree by the roadside. You still won't admit it. He didn't believe me. Sob. I felt so wronged and was about to protest again when he suddenly slapped himself again. Fu Zinian grabbed his right hand tightly with his left, looking like his entire worldview was collapsing. I thought for a moment, then ventured carefully. It really wasn't me. Maybe it's because you made me sad, which triggered a punishment mechanism. Maybe try saying a few more things to hurt my feelings, for science? Under the dim streetlight, Fu Zinian took a deep breath. So you're saying I should give myself a few more slaps? My tone was sincere. Of course not. I just want to prove my innocence. Fu Zinian looked even more agitated, letting out a string of curses. I reached out to touch his swollen face. He irritably tried to swat my hand away. Don't move. He froze. I reached out and gently pressed his swollen cheek. Does it hurt? His tone was nasty. Try slapping yourself twice and find out. Oh. I raised my hand to slap myself, putting some force behind it. Right as my hand was about to connect, Fu Zinian caught my wrist. Zhou Ruoru, are you stupid? I smiled slyly. I knew he'd stop me. He had a bad temper, but he wasn't a bad person. Fu Zinian saw through my little trick, and laughed in spite of his anger. I never noticed you had it in you. So, what are you going to make me do next? Right now, he looked like an angry cat that couldn't defeat its owner. I stood on my tiptoes and ruffled his hair, seeing my own smiling crescent-eyed reflection in his dark eyes. No evil plans for now. You wait here obediently, don't run off, or else I single quotes LL. I mouthed silently. Make you sleep with me. Fu Zinian was furious. Zhou Ruoru, you wouldn't dare. Oh, but I would now. I pressed my finger to his lips. Don't talk. If you make me sad, you'll have to slap yourself again. With such a good opportunity, would you sleep with the school heartthrob? You would, right? You would. I wanted to too. It was my ultimate goal. But my courage for the day was running low, not enough for such a monumental feat. I'd wait, let my courage recharge. First, I'd buy some medicine for him. He was reckless and often got hurt playing sports. Before, I was too chicken, afraid of rejection. Plus, Lin Jingjing was always there to fuss over him. So even if I wanted to help, I never had the chance. But now it was different. As I applied the ointment to Fu Zinian's face, he frowned, resisting, and reached to grab my wrist. Don't move, I commanded. Don't you know your own skin? And you hate going to the hospital. Do you want to go hiking tomorrow with a swollen face? He squinted at me. How do you know I hate hospitals? Just ... casually picked up some info. I gently spread the ointment on his face. You're always so arrogant. I thought you weren't afraid of anything. Fu Zinian's expression was cold. What do you know? As my finger brushed past his lips, I suddenly remembered his kissing allergy. He'd rushed out of the private room right after kissing me, clearly knowing about it. My mood immediately sank. You know you're allergic to kissing. Is it because you've kissed someone before? Fu Zinian's expression changed, and he raised his hand towards his face again. Oh no, I forgot about that rule. Luckily, I was quick. I grabbed his wrist and pulled it down, yelling, Stop. Thank heavens I stopped it. No. Huh? Fu Zinian rubbed his lips, his expression teasing. You took my first kiss. My face lit up with joy. Really? That was my first kiss too. I looked at him happily. I took your first kiss. You probably won't be able to forget me for the rest of your life, right? Fu Zinian curled his lips in a light scoff. Could you forget? Worth it, girls. Whether I end up as the one that got away, or just a memory, I'll definitely be a significant mark in his memory. Back in the dorm, I called my mom to ask about the pill. She was impatient. That's just some silly kid stuff. I'm busy here. 5 being ... double quotes, she hung up. As always, she never listened to me patiently. Never cared what was happening with me. A few minutes later, I received a text from an unknown number. That pill only works for 100 days. Did my mom send it using a friend's phone? I called back, but a man answered, insisting he hadn't sent any text and telling me to improve my scamming techniques. Just after hanging up, the same person texted again. It really only lasts 100 days. Don't try to control people's hearts. So weird. Sissy leaned over. Let's just assume it's true. Then you could make Fu Zinian your boyfriend for 100 days, use him up, and come out ahead. Worth it, Rua. I wavered. Taking advantage of him like that isn't right, is it? And once the pill wears off, won't he kill me? Just then, my phone buzzed. A message from Fu Zinian. Find out? Yeah. The pill only works for 100 days. He replied quickly. All right. Then let's just not see each other for a while. I deleted the sentence. Why don't you be my boyfriend for 100 days? From the chat box, one word at a time, and replied with a simple, oh. I thought the chat was over, but my phone buzzed again. Are you fucking sad again? A little. How did he know? You call that a little? He sent a picture. I opened it. It was a close-up selfie of Fu Zinian. His right cheek, which had mostly swollen, was red and puffy again. Bao just announced in the dorm that he has a new girlfriend. The moment he said it, I slapped myself. Now they're all looking at me like I'm crazy. Joe Ru, I could actually kill you. Theft. Now I was a little scared, but mostly I found it hilarious. I took a deep breath and hit send. And how about being my boyfriend for 100 days? Keep me happy and protect your pretty face. I waited over an hour. No reply. I stayed up late and finally fell asleep having a dream. I dreamed I was 12 years old, the day my parents divorced. Outside the Civil Affairs Bureau, they each hailed a taxi and left, leaving me standing there alone. They always said they'd stayed together for my sake all those years. If that was true, why did they both forget to take me with them? I carried my backpack and walked along the road, on and on, until I reached the riverbank. It had been raining for days. The river was high. It was dark already, and the streetlights along the bank hadn't come on yet. On a night this gloomy, it felt like the perfect time to just disappear silently. I lifted my foot to step into the surging river, but a hand grabbed me tightly. I turned around and saw Fu Zinian, at 20 years old. I asked him, "Why don't you remember me?" "I'm sorry. Back then, I was too caught up in my own misery to notice you'd been crying. If I tell you now, don't be sad, would it still be too late?" But before I could get his answer, my alarm clock woke me up. Today was our mountaineering club activity. We were all going to hike Mount Lu together and camp overnight on the mountain. When Sissy and I arrived at the school gate, the club president, Bao, was checking names off the roster. I looked around. No Fu Zinian. Bao explained. Nian Jay isn't feeling well. Said he's not coming. Oh, trying to avoid me. I got on the bus feeling pretty down. A lot of people on the bus had been at last night's gathering. Seeing me show up alone, and Fu Zinian not coming, they all huddled together whispering. A few even shared snacks to comfort me. This trip allowed +1s, so C's boyfriend came along too. I sat alone in the back row by the aisle. Soon, Lin Jingjing showed up, dressed like a fairy, and sat down right next to me. She probably had something to say. Sure enough, after sitting down, she smiled at me. Couldn't sleep last night from excitement, right? I thought you two were going to go public today. But he didn't even show up. She pulled out her phone. Want me to contact him and ask him to come? You know he never refuses me. I sniffed. Did you just drink green tea? No, why? Then you must naturally emit a green tea scent. I smiled at Lin Jingjing. He might never refuse you, but has he ever kissed you? Lin Jingjing's face stiffened. And I might act like a pushover around him because I like him. Don't mistake that for me being an easy target. I leaned close to her ear and lowered my voice. I've seen you video chatting with your boyfriend. You clearly have a partner, but you keep playing single, accepting all those gifts and reselling them online. Do you really think you're hiding it well? Lin Jingjing tightened her grip on her drink, still smiling. They should be grateful I even accept their gifts. Besides, so what if he kissed you? If he really wanted something to happen, why would he be avoiding you? Damn. She had a point. I was trying to think of a comeback when a small commotion started on the bus. Fu Zinian had arrived. He was wearing a dark green sun protection jacket with the hood pulled up, almost covering his entire face. But everyone still noticed the redness and swelling. Someone asked if he'd been caught climbing through some woman's window last night and got beaten up for it. He responded by kicking the guy in the thigh. Shut the hell up. I was just repeatedly bitten by a lovesick mosquito. Everyone was confused. I guiltily lowered my head. It's not like I could control being sad. Fu Zinian walked towards us. Lin Jingjing smiled up at him. Zhou Ruo was just asking me to see if you were coming. Since when did I ask her to do that? Fu Zinian had already stopped in front of me. Hearing this, he raised an eyebrow and smiled. Get up. My heart twisted. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw him lift his arm, which scared the sadness right out of me. Lin Jingjing put on a fake show of politeness. Maybe I should just move and let you two talk properly. Fu Zinian glanced at me, then replied. Sure. She was going for the whole virtuous act, but Fu Zinian didn't follow the script. Lin Jingjing was stunned. Fu Zinian bent down to pick up Lin Jingjing's bag from beside her feet. At that angle, his shoulder almost brushed my chest. I could hear my own heart pounding. He'd already grabbed her bag, but he held that position and turned his head to look at me, his gaze sharp. Why are you blushing? I gripped my bag strap tighter, mustered my courage, and leaned my face forward just a bit. Our lips were so close it felt like we might kiss any second. I whispered, just thinking about last night. Fu Zinian licked his lips, his expression meaningful. Zhou Ruoru, you're really something. He straightened up and tossed Lin Jingjing's bag onto the seat behind him. Nian, so you two sealed it with a kiss. Lin Jingjing's opening line was so cloying I could barely breathe. Well, congratulations then. I smiled at Fu Zinian. She's older than you, isn't she? Jay, older brother. Doesn't really fit. You should call her G, older sister. Fu Zinian glared at me murderously. I had no choice. Jingjing G, if you don't want to move, I'll just take Zhou Ruoru to the back. The look on Lin Jingjing's face. You could have painted 10 landscapes with all those colors. I was still trying to stifle my laughter as Fu Zinian sat down beside me. He tousled my hair roughly. Is this fun for you? I nodded vigorously. Fun? It's freaking awesome. He scoffed lightly. Your bar for awesome is pretty low. Get ready for it to be blown sky high. I gave him a questioning look. He scratched his eyebrow, looking casual. I agree. I was? He glared at me, grinding his teeth. Zhou Ruoru, be my girlfriend for 100 days. Girls, what do you do at a time like this? You grab his hand tight and shout, I do. Don't even hesitate for a second. I was afraid he'd change his mind. I snatched the milk carton from his hand, beaming. I'll consider this our token of love. Fu Zinian looked at me like I was crazy. It's fake. Only 100 days. And you're this happy. To me, you've always been like the stars and moon in the sky, totally out of reach. My eyes were full of happiness. Hands clasped together. Being able to have you, even briefly, I'm already grateful. I'm just so ordinary. Average height, average looks, average grades, a messed up family. Forget forever. I've taken all the school heartthrobs firsts, and made sure he'll remember me for life. I've already won. I asked quietly. So are we doing the secret dating thing? He was always so high profile. He'd only agreed to be my boyfriend under duress. He probably wouldn't want our relationship public. Girlfriend of the year. That's me. Fu Zinian's smooth hand paused. His beautiful brows furrowed, his tone cold. Suit yourself. The bus drove all the way to the foot of the mountain. Fu Zinian, and I got off one after the other. I pulled out my phone and saw that half an hour ago, another virtual unknown number had sent me 3 texts in a row. Don't agree to him. How did the timing of these texts always seem so perfect? I called back. Disconnected. Just as I was about to search online if this was some kind of scam text, Bao pulled me aside. Zhou Ruo, I need to warn you about something. I got instantly nervous. Did he know I'd used shady methods to get Fu Zinian? Bao's chubby hands fidgeted together, his cute little eyes full of guilt. The reason 9G's attitude towards you changed so suddenly might be because I got a girlfriend. I was totally confused. When he found out yesterday, he slapped himself. Bao lowered his voice. I never knew he felt that way about me. PFFT. I stifled my laugh and replied seriously. Is it possible he doesn't like you, but likes your girlfriend? Bao was stunned for a few seconds, then his expression changed drastically. He shouted, Wait for me, honey, and ran off towards his brand new girlfriend. Fu Zinian was surrounded by people, but he glanced at me through the crowd, his look full of suspicion. I made a funny face at him. To prove our mountaineering club wasn't all talk, everyone chose a relatively steep path. After climbing for about half an hour, we reached a small slope. Sissy's boyfriend, Bai Yuan, reached out and helped pull Sissy up. Then he extended his hand towards me. Ruo, I'll help you. Just as I was about to take his hand, Fu Zinian spoke up fiercely. Just worry about your own girlfriend. Since when do our club members need your help? This guy really did have a temper. If not for the filter of him saving my life, I probably wouldn't like this type. I was about to awkwardly withdraw my hand when Fu Zinian suddenly bent down, grabbed my wrist cleanly, and pulled me up. Caught off guard, I stumbled forward a few steps after he yanked me onto the slope, and ended up crashing right into his arms, my hands clutching tightly to his collar. He loosely held my back, leaning his head back, looking down at me. Throwing yourself at me? He was so much taller. I stood on my tiptoes to give myself a little more presence. You're the one who pulled me. And I'm not letting go. I'm going to ... I mouthed silently. Kiss you. We were so close. The mountain wind rustled the leaves, blowing my stray hairs across his face. His gaze was intense, both fierce and rebellious. Go ahead then ... Fine by me. What was there to be afraid of now? I'd already prepared for this relationship to end in disaster anyway. Just as I was about to go for it, Lin Jingjing's soft voice cut in. Zinian, could you help me up? Fu Zinian glanced back at her, then nodded towards Bai Yuan. You're stronger and closer. You help her. Bai Yuan. Sissy elbowed him. What are you waiting for? Help her. Then she winked at me. Best friend for life. I owe you one. Oh, wow. I remembered Sissy mentioning her man had AB ears. I'd seen countless AB pics online, but never seen 8-pack abs in person. Curious. Just as I was about to sneak a peek, Fu Zinian grabbed my head and turned it back towards him. What are you looking at? Compared to Bai Yuan, he was obviously more interesting. Fu Zinian, do you have 8-pack abs? Fu Zinian lifted his chin proudly. Yep. My eyes lit up. So can I? Fu Zinian's eyebrow twitched. He covered my mouth. Shut up. There are so many people behind us. You want me to lift my shirt right here? I grinned knowingly. Got it. Late at night, when it's quiet, I can inspect your body. Fu Zinian's fists clenched. That's not what I meant. I didn't care. I decided that's exactly what he meant and filed it away for later. That night, we camped on the mountain. Cece wanted to be with her boyfriend. I was originally supposed to share a tent with a new club member, but that little minx Lin Jingjing lured her away. She knew I didn't like being alone at night. She left me alone on purpose. I thought about crashing with Sissy, but when I got to her tent, I heard strange noises coming from inside. Not a good time to interrupt. It was already 11 p.m. Everyone was tired. It wasn't right to wake anyone. I'd pulled my sleeping bag out of the tent, hoping the night breeze would dry it. But as soon as I stepped out, I looked up and saw a tall, dark figure. Holy crap, scared me half to death. It's me. Fu Zinian's bold voice calmed my frantic heartbeat. What are you doing wandering around the campsite in the middle of the night? My sleeping bag is wet. I wanted to air it out. I stood on my tiptoes, trying to hang it on a tree branch, but I kept falling just short. I stomped my foot in frustration. Just as I was about to try again, a large hand took the sleeping bag. It was Fu Zinian. He just reached up and hung it easily. Being tall was nice. The moonlight was clear, stretching his shadow long until it completely covered mine. I held my hand out, making a few shapes. Fu Zinian turned around. "What are you doing?" My hands formed a circle in the air. "See? Doesn't it look like we're hugging?" "Childish." He sat down on a rock next to the sleeping bag, tilted his head back and looked at the sky. "Look at that moon. Isn't it as round as your face?" I puffed out my cheeks and glared at him. "Your face is round." Fu Zinian's eyes were full of scattered laughter. He reached out, pinched my cheek, and pulled me down to sit beside him. "Still don't believe me? What's this then?" "Baby fat," I declared confidently. "When I lose it, it'll blind you." The full moon hung on the treetops in the distance. The night was silent, except for the occasional coo of a bird that hadn't gone to sleep. The night was gentle. Even Fu Zinian's voice softened. "Round like the moon. It suits you." I lowered my head. "But I don't like this kind of moon." When I was little, my parents never had time for me. After school, I had to go to my teacher's house for dinner and homework until 9 o'clock. Then I had to walk home alone. It was only a short 800-meter walk. But an 800-meter walk that takes an adult a few minutes felt like walking a tightrope every single time to a child. Stray cats appearing from nowhere. Barking black dogs, drunkards, punks with dyed hair smoking cigarettes. Any small thing could scare me to death. I always kept an umbrella in my bag because no matter how hard it rained, no one would ever come to pick me up. Fu Zinian turned his head to look at me. "Then how come you still smile so much? How come you're so thick-skinned?" I grinned. "You don't get it. That's just survival wisdom. If I wasn't a little thick-skinned, how could I have squeezed more allowance out of my parents during their tug-of-war? I was chubby and cute when I was little. I smiled a lot. Even if I messed up, people wouldn't be too hard on me. Over time, it just became a habit." Fu Zinian gently pressed his hand on my head and said to me in a tone I'd never heard from him before, "And when you want to cry, just cry out loud." My eyes felt hot, my heart aching with a strange bitterness. Crying freely in front of someone, that was a skill I hadn't quite mastered yet. But maybe I could share a little more of my secret. I said softly, "Actually, today is my real birthday. The date on my ID was wrong. Back then, my parents wanted me to start school early, so they moved my birth month forward by 2 months. Fu Zinian frowned, then suddenly stood up and started walking back towards the tents. "Wait here for me." My phone buzzed. Another unknown number texted me. "Happy birthday, Ru." Just as I was about to call the number, Fu Zinian came back and reached out his hand to me. "You'd better come with me." I looked at him, confused. "You're too easily scared. Leaving you alone out here might just frighten you to death." My heart fluttered, girls. Fu Zinian led me to his tent, took out a bottle of water and a bowl. He placed the bowl down and poured the water into it. He pointed at the water surface. "Jo Ru, happy birthday. This is your gift." The water, smooth as a mirror, reflected a perfect full moon. The night breeze carried the crisp autumn scent from Fu Zinian. Under the moonlight, his eyes sparkled like stars, his voice proud and arrogant. The moon and stars, not so out of reach after all. I reached out and gently touched the water in the bowl. The moon and stars shattered. Fu Zinian frowned. "Just thought of it on the spot. I'll make it up to you with a real..." I was staring at him intently. Couldn't wait for him to finish. I reached up, grabbed his collar and pulled him close. "Fu Zinian, forget the stars and moon. Give me a kiss as my birthday present." I stood on my tiptoes and pressed my lips to his. Then suddenly remembered something. "Oh no, I forgot. You're allergic to kissing ... Fu Zinian cupped the back of my head, his voice hypnotic. "You ordered this gift. Even if I'm allergic, I'm delivering." I pressed my hand against his chest. "But this way ... double quell." Our lips were barely 2 centimeters apart. He leaned in closer, his voice muffled. "Idiot. I'm allergic to mint." His lips were soft like wobbly jelly. I hesitated at the firmly closed door, unsure whether to go in. Just then, the door opened. The owner enthusiastically and actively invited me to stay and play a while longer. I don't know how long we kissed. When I felt like I couldn't breathe anymore, I reluctantly let go. Fu Zinian's smug face was flushed, his breathing unsteady, his eyes shimmering like a moonlit lake. "Zhou Ruowu, you're getting bolder and bolder." "I think I need to." I pressed my finger to his lips. "Don't. Please don't say anything harsh. You're the one who provoked me today. If he hadn't made that bowl of water, I wouldn't have lost control like this." I reached out, slipped a finger through the gap in his shirt, hooked it around a button, and started pulling him towards my tent. Fu Zinian's voice was hoarse. "Zhou Ruowu, where are you taking me?" I ducked into my tent, then pulled him in after me. He wasn't expecting it, stumbled and lunged forward, taking me down with him. But at the last second, he braced his arms on the ground, which left me trapped beneath him. His Adam's apple, prominent as a small mountain range, bobbed. He looked down at me, his gaze heavy. "Zhou Ruowu, what exactly are you trying to do?" I reached for the buttons on his shirt. "It's late and quiet. Time for me to inspect your body." I said it boldly, but my hands were trembling. Excitement, nervousness, a little bit of shame, all kinds of emotions mixed together. The light inside the tent was dim, and with Fu Zinian staring at me so intensely, I shook so badly I couldn't even undo one button after fumbling for ages. "Sorry girls, I let you down." Fu Zinian sighed, rolled over, and lay down beside me. "I'll do it myself." He was being so proactive. Was there no turning back for me? I suppressed the urge to squeal like a groundhog, swallowed hard, excited and nervous. Fu Zinian unbuttoned his shirt, one button at a time, slowly revealing the tempting sight inch by inch. In the dim light, his tan body looked like a work of art, carefully carved by God. I couldn't look away. He raised an eyebrow, radiating challenge. "Zhou Ruowu, are you sure you want to do this?" He was already unbuckling his belt. I placed my hand over his, deflated. "I'm not sure." "Never mind." I really had come into these 90 days with the mindset of not asking for eternity, only for having had him once. But knowing his heart wasn't mine, yet using the pill's effect to do this. He would really hate me, wouldn't he? "I'm sorry. Let me button you back up." I reached out to help him with his buttons. This time, my hands were much steadier. I was afraid he'd get slapped again, so I tried hard to think happy thoughts. Fu Zinian let out a low sigh, grabbed my wrist and pressed it against his stomach. "Go on, touch." "Me? Didn't you really want to feel my ABs? Go ahead. 3 minutes." His stomach muscles were taut. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lower. Fu Zinian's voice was strained. "Don't push my patience any further. Double quotes." Oh, I reluctantly pulled my hand back. Fu Zinian, iron. "Yeah? What are you thinking about?" Counting. Up to what? 118. 56, 57, 38, 42, 13, 28, 75, 60. I rattled off a bunch of numbers randomly, my hand pressed firmly against his abs. "What number is it now?" Fu Zinian's Adam's apple bogged. "You messed up my rhythm." I beamed happily. "So what do we do about that?" Fu Zinian turned his head to look at me. I never thought I'd see him lying beside me. So close. His breath brushed my face. "Can't you just order me around? That's different. This time, you're doing it willingly." Girls, ABS. The more you touch them, the less you get tired of them. I highly recommend you go touch some too. The feel is amazing. My sleeping bag was still soaking wet. Hadn't dried even after 2 hours of airing out. Later, Fu Zinian gave me his and said he'd go squeeze in with someone else. But just as he was about to leave, an owl outside started hooting, scaring me into a little yelp. He ran his hand through his hair irritably and asked gruffly, "You mind if I stay?" Mind? As if. But I figured I should be a little reserved. That might not be appropriate. Fu Zinian started walking out. Okay then. Just like that? Panicking, I grabbed his sleeve. On second thought, I don't mind that much. Stay. I'm a little scared alone. In the dim light, I saw the corner of his mouth curl into a faint smile. Was he teasing me? I thought I'd be too excited to sleep, but I guess I was too tired. We lay down and I fell asleep quickly. Had another dream. A snake kept chasing me, trying to bite my butt. I couldn't get rid of it. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of commotion outside. When I opened my eyes, Fu Zinian was still asleep beside me. He was lying on his side, facing me, his expression relaxed, looking soft and gentle. A far cry from his usual fierce demeanor. I reached out, touched his forehead, traced down his nose, and finally stopped at his soft lips. Might as well sneak another kiss while he's still asleep. Just as I leaned in, I heard Sissy yelling outside. Why isn't Rua up yet? Then she zipped open the tent. Fu Zinian woke up with a start, his sleepy eyes meeting my greedy ones. This position ... was very easy to misunderstand. The scene was too shocking. Sissy gasped and zipped the tent right back up. I was a little flustered, but Fu Zinian, unhurried, folded his hands behind his head and looked at me leisurely. What were you about to do to me while I was asleep? I sat bolt upright. Nothing, you were drooling. I was just wiping it. Fu Zinian's mouth twitched. I can't show my face anymore, girls. The atmosphere in the tent was super weird and awkward until Lin Jingjing's shrill voice rang out. Has anyone seen Fu Zinian? Sissy yelled back. Nope. The voice got closer, laced with suspicion. I can't find him anywhere. He wouldn't be in Zhou Ruo's tent, would he? My heart was in my throat. As a girl myself, I didn't think Lin Jing truly liked Fu Zinian. She probably just enjoyed being treated specially. She always played the field with lots of guys, never committing to any. And now, my appearance was making her feel threatened. Fu Zinian was leisurely buttoning his shirt. Nervous, I countered. Aren't you? Wasn't he afraid of Lin Jingjing seeing? Fu Zinian curved his lips, then zipped open the tent. Bright sunlight streamed in, making me squint. In the strong light, he looked like a god descending wrapped in flames. I instinctively wanted to let go of his sleeve, but he held my hand tighter, his voice bold. I'm not nervous. He pulled me out of the tent, and I was standing completely in the sunlight. Lin Jingjing was stunned. After the shock, she actually tried to cover for him. Zinian, did Zhou Ruo mood you for something this morning? Almost everyone was drawn by her voice, looking our way. My heart was all over the place. So many thoughts were running through my head, but I couldn't sort them out. Fu Zinian rolled his neck, his tone lazy. No, I stayed in her tent last night. Lin Jingjing's voice trembled. You? How could you? Fu Zinian glanced sideways at her. I'm her boyfriend, she's my girlfriend. What's the problem with us sharing a tent? Everyone was stunned. It was no secret that I liked Fu Zinian. But before, his attitude towards me was pretty much the same as towards other girls, maybe even more distant. Overnight, we become a couple and share a tent. It really did invite speculation. I didn't want people to misunderstand him, so I quickly explained. Actually, my sleeping bag got wet last night, and I had nowhere to sleep, and I was scared alone. ... Fu Zinian cut me off impatiently. We slept together, so what? It's not illegal. Why are you explaining? Bao and Sissy led the way, and everyone went, oh. Everyone was congratulating us, clamoring for Fu Zinian to treat everyone to a meal. He agreed. Sissy, who had been beaming, suddenly changed expression. Weren't you supposed to sleep with Xiaonan last night? Xiaonan got taken away by Lin. Sissy glared angrily at Lin Jingjing, but quickly broke into a smile again. Come to think of it, we should thank Lin for making this opportunity for Ruaru. Ruaru, you'll have to treat Lin to a separate meal sometime. Hitting where it hurts. Lin Jingjing stared at Fu Zinian with red-rimmed eyes, her lips trembling, looking pitiful enough to melt hearts. She took 2 steps back, giving Fu Zinian a look that clearly said, come after me, explain yourself, then turned and walked away dejectedly. Fu Zinian frowned, glanced at her retreating back, then elbowed Bao. Anything's fine. You guys decide. Watching Fu Zinian surrounded by the crowd, I felt a strong sense of unreality. Just like that, he was my boyfriend. And me? I was just a speck of dust in the universe, gazing at him from afar. Just as I was feeling a bit dejected, Fu Zinian turned his head and looked back at me. Through the crowd, he gave me a small smile. That smile was so dazzling, it dimmed the sunlight above. Who cares? I'm grabbing hold of this light first. Having comforted myself, I went back to the tent. My phone was fully charged from the power bank. I turned it on. It buzzed incessantly. An unknown number had sent me 3 texts in a row. Don't trust men. Don't give your heart. Do not let him stay overnight. Do not let him stay overnight. Checking the time, it was exactly when I had pulled Fu Zinian into the tent last night. So weird. It felt like I was being watched. I called the number. A young male voice answered. I talked to him for a while. He insisted he hadn't sent those strange texts, and definitely didn't know my mom. Same story. I called my mom. No surprise, she didn't answer. For years, she'd lived a completely reversed schedule. She never got up before noon. Around 10 p.m., my mom posted on social media. In all that time, she hadn't called me back or sent me a single message. What else could I do? I laughed bitterly and called her again. This time, no matter how impatient she was, I asked everything I needed to ask. I didn't get anyone to send you weird messages. When would I have the time? But I do remember your great-grandmother mentioning something about 100 days. Are you in a relationship? Don't go for some broke guy like your father. Find someone with money. Don't waste your young face. I hung up. Young. On a university campus, being young wasn't exactly an advantage. Fu Zinian was a big deal on campus, so dating him made me famous too. I was on the confession page. Everywhere I went, people gave me a second look. I had no dating experience. I didn't know how to be in a relationship. After coming back from Mount Lu, aside from chatting with Fu Zinian on WeChat every day, I mostly kept to my usual routine. One afternoon, I got a message from him. What are you doing tonight? Going to the library to look up some stuff. Wanna come? Have you passed CET 4? I passed level 4 last semester, now prepping for level 6. Who are you underestimating? I aced CET 4 last semester, okay? I could feel his pride through the screen. Really? You're so awesome, I replied sweetly. I only scored 560. What did you get? I heard quite a few people at our school scored over 600 on CET 4 last year. Was he one of them? On the other end, Fu Zinian typed and deleted for a long time. Finally, he sent, going to play ball. Talk later. Huh? Why did he stop? I went to the library alone. When I passed the basketball court, I purposely looked. Fu Zinian wasn't there. At 10 p.m., I was getting ready to head back from the library. As I took the elevator down, it suddenly lurched violently with a loud clang, then plunged into darkness. I was alone in the elevator. No phone signal at all, and barely any battery left. I turned on my flashlight and pounded on the door, but there was no response from outside. I'd gotten on the elevator on the 7th floor, the top floor of the library. It had stopped right after starting to go down, so I was probably stuck somewhere between the 6th and 7th floors. I stopped pounding on the door and realized it was noisy outside. The library couldn't possibly be this loud. I pressed my ear against the wall and heard thumping, chaotic running footsteps, and someone yelling things like, "Why did the power go out? Everyone be careful, don't trample each other." So it was a power outage causing the elevator malfunction. They'd fix it soon, right? Someone would find me, right? I tried to comfort myself, but honestly, I had no confidence. I shared a dorm with Sissy, just the two of us. She was out with Bai Yuan tonight, and probably wouldn't be back. If she didn't notice, no one would know I was trapped here. The noise outside gradually faded. I vaguely heard a teacher using a megaphone. "Is anyone still here?" I pounded on the door with all my might. "I'm in the elevator. I'm in the elevator." But the teacher's voice drifted further and further away. My hands fell limply. My phone's last bit of battery died. The world was plunged into darkness. I hugged my knees and slowly crouched down, feeling like I was a child again, alone in the dark, in nights that seemed endless. Once, when I was walking home, it suddenly started pouring rain. I kept hoping my parents would come get me. I hid under someone's eaves, listening to a mother inside singing softly to put her child to sleep. I waited for a long, long time. The rain stopped. I walked home. The house was lively. My dad wasn't there. My mom had invited a bunch of mahjong friends over to play. She had no idea I'd gotten home over an hour late. She had no idea I'd been caught in that downpour. Even though I smiled with all my might, told myself every day to be positive and optimistic, the truth was, in this world, even my own parents didn't care about me. No matter how brightly I smiled, I was still the loneliest one. Maybe I should just drown in this darkness. I lay down on the floor, stretching out. If the elevator suddenly fell, would this position kill me? Just as I was about to slip completely into the abyss, I heard an urgent, furious roar. She has to be in here. Let me search again. She's not back in the dorm. She's a good girl. She wouldn't be out this late. Her phone's dead. She must be trapped here. It was Fu Zinian. A middle-aged woman's voice was saying softly that they'd checked everywhere. Fu Zinian's voice got louder, already hoarse. She has to be in here. She's afraid of the dark. Maybe she passed out somewhere. I have to find her today. Light returned to my world. I scrambled up, pounded on the door and shouted his name. But my throat was parched and raw. I couldn't produce a loud sound. He didn't hear me. He was going downstairs. He wouldn't find me. I was devastated. Just then, I heard him stop walking. After a few seconds of silence, he asked, "Teacher, did you check the elevator?" I cut my hands around my mouth like a megaphone, pressed them to the wall, and yelled with everything I had. "Fu Zinian, I'm in here. Come here." It wasn't a direct, face-to-face command. Would it work? I got my answer quickly. From above, at the elevator doors, came his exhausted yet radiant voice. "Joe Ruuru, I found you. Stay put in there. I'm right here with you. Okay. I'm not scared anymore." I really wasn't scared anymore. It wasn't the darkness I feared. It was reaching the end of the darkness and finding no one waiting for me. Half an hour later, the firefighters freed me from the elevator. What awaited me wasn't a warm hug from Fu Zinian, but his fury. "Can't you carry a power bank? You have the power to make me come running any time. Why don't you use it?" I hung my head meekly, tugged at the corner of his shirt. "Fu Zinian, I'm so hungry. Double quote. Serves you right. Maybe you'll learn your lesson." He said it fiercely, but then he crouched down. "Come on, I'll carry you down." I wanted to say I could walk, but seeing how fierce he looked, I chickened out and climbed onto his back. As soon as we got to the first floor, we ran into Sissy and Bai Yuan rushing over. Seeing I was okay, they breathed a huge sigh of relief. When Sissy saw Fu Zinian carrying me, she winked at me, then dragged Bai Yuan away. I noticed then that it must have just rained heavily. Water droplets still clung to the leaves of the camphor trees on campus. I rested my head against Fu Zinian's neck and whispered, "Fu Zinian, thank you for coming to find me. Thank you for finding me. Thank me for nothing. You're my girlfriend. Of course I'm responsible for your safety. Even if it was only for 100 temporary days. But that sentence would ruin the mood. I didn't ask it. Being able to have this moment, I was already happy." After a late-night snack, I returned to the dorm and found Sissy actually waiting for me. She had that knowing smile. I saw. "Fu Zinian walked you back. Did you guys take it from pretend to real?" I blushed. "Nonsense, we just kissed. Didn't get to that step." Sissy shrieked. "You kissed? Tongues? Didn't you say nothing happened that night? That you just crawled into the sleeping bag and talked?" I knew it. Uh-oh. Busted. That night, Sissy insisted on squeezing into my bed to sleep, saying she needed to interrogate me. But I knew it was because she was afraid I'd be scared alone. And in that moment, I realized I wasn't that abandoned 12-year-old kid anymore. I'd grown up. I could take care of myself. And there was someone willing to take care of me. After I charged my phone and turned it on, I found another text from an unknown number. "Don't be scared, Ruuru. Ruuru, men are no good. Ruru, love yourself. Don't love men. That number, of course, was unreachable again. Who could it be? Was one of Fu Zinian's admirers messing with me? Early the next morning, Fu Zinian was waiting for me downstairs. He tossed me a power bank. From now on, make sure this is always fully charged. If I can't reach you again. His smile was ominous. When I find you, I'll kiss you until your lips are swollen, in front of everyone. That punishment. I weirdly kind of looked forward to it. After the elevator incident, our relationship visibly improved. We were often seen together, just like any ordinary couple. That day I went to watch his basketball game. It was the interdepartmental finals. The score was tied. Fu Zinian's three-point percentage wasn't usually high, but this time he sank a three at the buzzer, securing the win. All his teammates rushed over to hug him and cheer, but he ducked out from among them, ran over, and grabbed me, who was standing by the sidelines. He kissed me hard on the forehead. Joe Ruuru, if you hadn't been standing under the basket, I wouldn't have made that shot. He was hot and sweaty. My heart was pounding like crazy. Amidst the cheers around us, I looked up at him and whispered, Fu Zinian, actually Fu Zinian smiled brilliantly, lowered his head, and kissed me, his voice muffled. I know. You want more kisses? I've got you. He misunderstood. I was about to tell him that my head felt dizzy. I thought I might be getting heat stroke. So I put some cooling balm on my forehead. Fu Zinian was kissing me so intently that he had an allergic reaction, right in front of everyone. The bumps on his face were one thing, but his lips were swollen too. He became the laughingstock of his teammates. Nyan, what's up with that? Showing off your relationship like this? See, that's what you get for being smug and feeding us dog food. Nyan, strike a pose. Let me take a picture for posterity. Fu Zinian glared at them fiercely and threw a basketball at them. Shut up, or I'll beat all of you until you're swollen. To keep me company. Nyan, this girlfriend of yours is hard on your lips. Fu Zinian snorted coldly. Hard on my lips is better than having a mouth that's useless like yours. Teammate. Defeated. The sun was blazing. The guy beside me was fierce, but he held my hand, his palm burning hot, like it contained magma that could melt everything. My heart burned. My eyes were red. If only I could freeze time at this moment. Happy days were always especially short. The 100-day deadline was approaching fast. I'd been really happy during this time. The only thing that bothered me was the constant texts from unknown numbers. The content was always the same, trying to stop me from being with Fu Zinian. I just treated it as a prank. Cece kept encouraging me to ask Fu Zinian what would happen to our relationship after the 100 days were up, but I kept my head in the sand, always thinking that if I didn't ask, I wouldn't have to face it. I dragged it out until the very last day, December 31st. She said she'd found someone and was planning to get married and settle down properly. She wanted to have dinner with me that night. The man's son would be there too, but I never expected that the stepfather she'd found for me would be Fu Zinian's father. Fu Zinian was shocked too, but he quickly took my hand in front of his dad and my mum. Just letting you know in advance, Joe Ruuru and I are dating. I won't stop you guys, but don't bother us either. But my mom didn't agree with this arrangement. She pulled me aside to talk privately. Break up with him. If I marry Uncle Fu, you two will be step-siblings. How can you be dating? People will gossip about us. They'll think we're just after the Fu family's money. Sleet started falling. Even standing under the eaves, the sleet still hit my face. It stung. My mom stepped back a few paces, but I stayed where I was and asked her, why does it have to be me who breaks up? Why not you? When I was little, my teacher said I had talent and should learn to dance. You said I was too chubby. What was the point? In middle school, I got into the best private school. For the college entrance exam, I wanted to go to my dream school far away. You said I should stay in the city so we could look out for each other. I stared at her. But Mum, have you ever really looked out for me? In the past year and a half, you've given me a total of 5,000 kuai for living expenses. I laughed bitterly. 5,000. That's less than you lose in one mahjong session. Why am I always the one who has to give in? A flicker of guilt passed through my mom's eyes. She took my hand. This is the last time. Once I marry into that family, we'll both have a good life. Mom promises. From now on I'll give you at least 3,000 a month for expenses. You're young and pretty. Finding another rich boyfriend will be easy. But this is my only chance. I pulled my hand away. Sorry, Mom. This time, I don't want to give in. Even if we were going to break up tomorrow, I wanted to make my stance clear. My mom got angry. Why are you so ungrateful? Who raised you all these years? If it weren't for me, you'd have starved to death. Raised me? What does raised mean? Like a dog? Give it food. Give it some money for expenses. Is that raising? If that's the case, when she's old, giving her some money for support should be enough to repay that debt, right? I suddenly felt incredibly tired. I didn't want to argue anymore. I turned and ran, so tired. So tired. The sleep pelted my face. I walked aimlessly. People on the street looked at me strangely. My phone buzzed in my bag, but I didn't want to answer. Scenes from the past played slowly in my mind. I didn't understand what I'd done wrong. Why was it so hard for me to get just a little bit of love? It was New Year's Eve. The streets were packed. Everyone looked happy and festive. I, with my tear-streaked face, walking quickly and alone, was so out of place. I walked all the way to the pedestrian street square and sat on a stone bollard, watching the big clock in the center of the square point to 11. The place was a sea of people. If I melted into it, maybe I wouldn't feel so lonely. I sat there like an idiot. A couple ran by and the girl accidentally bumped into me. I lost my balance and, without even trying to resist, prepared to fall flat on my face. But instead, I fell into a familiar embrace. He smelled of grass. Among thousands of people, his starlight eyes held only me. Fu Zinian's voice was angry. Joe Ruaru, do you know I've been looking for you for 4 hours? It was snowing. My hair was damp from the sleet, sticking to my face. I looked up at Fu Zinian with wet eyes. How did you find me? Fu Zinian crouched down to my level. When other people are sad, they like to hide. But I guessed you'd want to be in the liveliest place. He knew me so well. In that instant, my heart felt like it was on fire. I managed a tearful smile. Yeah, but what do I do? There are so many people around, but I still feel. Fu Zinian hugged me tightly. Silly, you forgot about me. Don't you have a boyfriend who does whatever you say? Who's devoted to you? Who'll never change? I rested my head on his shoulder. Tears streaming down. Fu Zinian, take me to a hotel. His obedience, his devotion, his unchanging heart. There was only 1 hour left. My voice trembled violently. Please sleep with me. That's an order. There were many hotels near the square. I found the closest one. Just as we finished checking in, we heard Lin Jingjing's voice behind us. Zinian, I knew you'd be here. She'd obviously run here in a hurry. Her hair was messy, her face sweaty. During the time Fu Zinian and I were together, Lin Jingjing had caused plenty of drama. Fu Zinian was a bit more tolerant with her, but he always kept his boundaries. Now, with tears in her eyes, she looked at Fu Zinian. It was all my fault before. I've broken up with him now. Don't be mad at me anymore. I'll listen to you from now on. Zinian, you saved my life. Will you really not care about me anymore? Are you going to abandon me? Leave me alone by that little river again. Fu Zinian frowned. Lin Jingjing, I'll say this one last time. Don't bring up the past anymore. Saving you back then was just something I did. No big deal. Wait. The more I listened, the more something felt off. I had to ask. You saved her too? Also by a small river. What was he, some kind of reincarnated bodhisattva? Fu Zinian's expression shifted slightly. What do you mean by that? My heart ached a little. He'd saved Lin Jingjing, recognized her, but had forgotten me. I managed a bitter smile. I've never really thanked you properly. 8 years ago by the Xiang River, you saved me. You walked me home and even bought me a candied hawthorn stick on the way. Fu Zinian's expression was one of immense shock. The way he said it was strange. I smiled ruefully. When you walked me to my door, I took a little plush duck from my backpack and gave it to you as a thank you. Did you forget? Fu Zinian ran his hands through his hair roughly. his tone complicated. It was you. No wonder. Before he could finish, he shot a sharp glare at Lin Jingjing. Get lost. Lin Jingjing's lips trembled. Zinian, don't believe her. I only came here today because I got a text saying you'd be here. Maybe Zhou Ruaru set this whole thing up. Fu Zinian's face was icy. I won't believe another word you say. If you don't want to get hurt, don't ever come near me again. With that, he put his arm around me and headed upstairs. It was then I learned that Lin Jingjing had been impersonating me all along. At some party, Fu Zinian had had too much to drink and mentioned a few things to Lin Jingjing about saving someone years ago. Lin Jingjing had actually seized the opportunity and claimed to be that girl he'd saved. She must not have known many details, but with so much time passed, she could just brush it off by saying she'd forgotten. And because of that childhood connection, Fu Zinian had always been more tolerant of her. Now, Fu Zinian was pinching my cheek. I knew it. That night on top of Mount Lu, I felt like you were so familiar, like I'd seen you before. I never thought you were that little girl. His eyes sparkled. With that cute round face of yours, I should have recognized you sooner. So he had always remembered. It was just that Lin Jingjing had stolen that memory. The preferential treatment Lin Jingjing had received was rightfully mine. I was the one afraid to open up my old wounds, afraid to open up his too. I was the one who hesitated, too scared to tell him. If I had spoken up sooner, would things be? I didn't continue that thought, because the clock on the wall reminded me it was already 11:30. The time I had left was running out. Fu Zinian wanted to keep talking, but I pulled away, rushed into the bathroom, took a quick shower, and came out without even drying my hair. When I came out, Fu Zinian was sitting on the edge of the bed, holding my phone. Your phone was buzzing nonstop. Some unknown number kept texting you. I took the phone and tossed it aside, then pushed him down onto the bed and kissed him urgently. This kiss held all my love for him. This kiss took all my courage. Fu Zinian was the only light that had shone into my life during its darkest moment. I had treasured that memory carefully, never imagining I'd get the chance to see him again. He had grown into someone so unrestrained and brilliant, everything I could never be. He was my son, my ideal. Even if this love burned me badly, even if I was left with nothing but ashes, I would never regret this moment. After kissing for a while, I started tugging at his clothes. Fu Zinian gently caught my wrist. Ruaru. I'm sure. Tears fell onto his face. Fu Zinian, please don't reject me. I burst into loud sobs. Of course I knew it wasn't right. I knew I was being shameless. I just wanted to hold on to him for these last moments, to keep him with me. Fu Zinian held me tight, occasionally using a tissue to wipe my tears. I don't know how long I cried. Then we heard loud, bang-bang sounds outside, one after another. Fu Zinian carried me to the window and pulled back the curtain. Brilliant fireworks filled the entire night sky. He held my hand tightly. Zhou Ruaru, Happy New Year. My fiercely burning heart seemed to have only a few dying embers left. Happy New Year. You're free. You should go. Thank you, my 100-day boyfriend. I turned to go to the bathroom. I wanted to keep at least a little dignity. Didn't want to be a sniveling mess begging him to stay. Even though that's exactly what I wanted to do inside. I'd only taken one step when Fu Zinian scooped me up and tossed me onto the bed. You little minx. You stirred me up and now you think you can just wave your hand and send me packing. It's not that easy. I was dizzy from being thrown. But the pill's effect is gone, isn't it? Yeah, it's worn off. So you wouldn't look back on this later and always have that doubt in your mind. He lay down beside me and gently stroked my face. Zhou Ruaru, remember this. Tonight, it's me who's making the first move. It's me who wants this. It's me asking you. And I will take responsibility for you. For a lifetime. With that, he kissed me. Overwhelming and complete. I woke up after 9 the next morning. Fu Zinian beside me was still fast asleep. I got up to wash up. My legs felt weak and unsteady as I walked. While brushing my teeth, I noticed in the mirror that there was a new silver chain around my neck. The pendant was a crescent moon embracing a star. Fu Zinian was leaning against the bathroom doorframe, looking tired and languid. See? The moon and stars can be worn, never to set. After washing up, I turned on my phone and saw the text from last night. a good dozen or more, sent from several different numbers. Joe Ruaru, do not share a bed with him. Joe Ruaru, you are not yet married. Ruaru, you will regret this. So strange. Whoever this was had put so much effort into sending these texts to stop me. Why hadn't they done anything else? And Lin Jingjing had said yesterday she got a text telling her we were here. Was that this person's doing too? Just then, Fu Zinian came out after washing up. Now that our hearts were truly connected, I didn't need to hide things like this from him anymore. So when he saw my expression and asked what was wrong, I handed him my phone. He read through all the old texts and roughly tousled my hair. Something this weird? Why didn't you tell me sooner? What if this person is some kind of creep? Do you have any idea how dangerous that could be? As soon as he finished speaking, my phone buzzed. Ruaru, don't trust him. I mean you no harm. Oh my god. The hair on my arm stood up. Was this person watching us? Fu Zinian and I looked around the room. There were no surveillance devices anywhere. My phone remained silent. No response. On the way back to school, Fu Zinian carefully read through each text one by one. Suddenly he frowned. This number looks so familiar. He took out his own phone and dialed it. It turned out to be Jin Kong, a teammate from his basketball team. Jin Kong was pretty close with Fu Zinian. He immediately took me to see him. Jin Kong looked totally confused. There was no record in the system. But on my phone, the messages from him were clearly there. Goosebumps. Thinking back to the few calls I'd actually gotten through. Those people had also insisted they never sent any strange texts. Jin Kong scratched his head. This isn't scientific. Is this some kind of supernatural thing? I was totally baffled, but his words sparked an idea. Yes. If it was supernatural, who would be most likely to do this? The way this person phrased things, it didn't sound like someone living in this day, an age ... great-grandmother. I called my grandmother. She's old now and lives with my uncle in another city. From her fragmented account, I pieced together great-grandmother's life. Great-grandmother was a young lady from the Republican era. She had looks and family background, but she fell for a man who was already engaged. That man was my great-grandfather. Great-grandfather came from a poor family, was hard-working and ambitious, and wasn't swayed by power or money. To win her beloved, great-grandmother paid a fortune to buy 2 pills from a meow healer. She gave one to great-grandfather. Under the pill's influence, he consummated their relationship, and they were deeply in love for 100 days. But the moment the effect wore off, he left without a backward glance. Even though great-grandmother was already pregnant by then, great-grandmother never remarried. She spent her whole life waiting, but in the end, she waited for nothing. Putting it in that context, all the warnings started to make sense. Great-grandmother used the pill, but couldn't keep her beloved, and ended up sacrificing her whole life for it. She didn't want me to follow the same path. The winter sun was bright, but my heart was a jumble of emotions. Fu Zinian held my hand. Where is great-grandmother buried? Let's go visit her. If it weren't for that pill, you and I would never have met. Good idea. We actually took the time to go see great-grandmother. We brought a big bouquet of her favorite lily. Great-grandmother was buried in the traditional way. The grave was covered in a thick layer of fallen leaves. Fu Zinian made a simple broom, cleaned it all up, and then respectfully kowtowed 3 times. The mountain wind wailed, swirling around us as if whispering. After that day, I never received another strange text again. Fu Zinian said that whatever happened between his dad and my mom wouldn't affect our relationship. Half a month later, my mom called me voluntarily to say she and Uncle Fu had broken up. That's when I found out that my mom had been Uncle Fu's dream girl when he was young. Well, that made sense. My mom does have a very beautiful, deceptively charming face. Uncle Fu was the one who ended it. Maybe because of Fu Zinian. Or maybe he finally saw my mom for who she really was. She wasn't some lofty goddess, but just a vulgar, selfish woman. After getting dumped, my mom started trying to make peace with me. Said she didn't mind me dating Fu Zinian anymore. Said it would be even better, bringing the family closer together. Sad we were meant to be one family. She wanted me to plead her case. What a joke. Did she still think I was that 10-year-old kid desperate for her attention? I don't lack love anymore. Even if she was sincere, even if she offered me all the love in the world, I wouldn't care. I can give myself plenty of love. and I have Fu Zinian loving me with all his heart. Oh, and about that day when Fu Zinian was so sad when I was 12. That day was the first anniversary of his mother's death. His father was away on a business trip. He felt like his mother had already been forgotten, in just one short year. But after meeting me, he realized he wasn't the worst off. Later that night, his father caught a red-eye flight back. The next morning, he went to visit his wife's grave and bought Fu Zinian the toy he'd always wanted. See? Real love is shown through actions, not just words. Ever since she was exposed, Lin Jingjing stopped appearing around Fu Zinian. Maybe she finally realized she'd lost her biggest bargaining chip. In our junior year, someone posted about her on the school forum. Seems she had a boyfriend in another city, but was also flirting with her best friend's boyfriend. She accepted a lot of expensive gifts from him, then listed them for sale online. Her best friend was obviously furious at both of them. She not only posted their chat logs without any censorship, but also went through everything Lin Jingjing had ever listed for sale, asking people to come forward and claim their stuff. Of course, all hell broke loose. Lin Jingjing's out-of-town boyfriend came to the school, went straight to her dorm building, and in front of all the students coming and going, slapped her twice. Her reputation was completely destroyed. After that, no guys ever gave her gifts again, and no girls wanted to be friends with her. She'd had a great hand, but she played it terribly. I wasn't surprised by how things turned out. One afternoon, Fu Zinian asked me, a bit harshly, "You knew what she was like all along, and you knew I was close to her. Why didn't you warn me sooner? If I had exposed her in front of you, I would have felt like a terrible person." I hugged his arm and smiled. "Besides, you're smart enough not to be fooled by her. You and that mouth of yours. Don't kiss me. I just put on this bright red lipstick. I'll kiss you whenever I want. I don't care what color it is." 3 minutes later, he was wiping his mouth furiously. "You look great in lipstick. Don't ever wear it again." "I will wear it. I'll wear it all I want. Not only will I wear it myself, but from now on, I'll put it on his lips too. For the rest of our lives." The end.